welcome to Medway. This is an awesome opportunity for us and an excellent opportunity to invite everyone here, to have everybody be part of all of the things that are happening in this town right now. On behalf of the Medway Select Board, I want to extend that welcome to each and every one. Governor Healey, thank you for joining us. Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, Undersecretary Morrison, Undersecretary Cutler, thank you. And did I see Administrator Gulliver? Yes, Jonathan. How are you? Jonathan and I have worked together on a few projects. Always great to see a friendly face. I want to recognize our unbelievable legislative delegation as well. State Rep Jeff Roy. Where's Jeff? Jeff's right behind me on this side. Representative Mike Soder. And I see representatives of Senate President Karen Spilka's office here today as well. Dennis, nice to see you. And recognize Glenn Trindade, member of the Medway Select Board, who's here. A few of our Medway folks have helped make some of these events and these projects possible, not the least of which is Barbara St. Andre. Barbara is our Director of Community and Economic Development here in Medway. Chief of Police Bill Kingsbury. Bill's in charge of security today, so everything's good. And our Communications Director, Sandy Johnson, helping us out this morning. This is an awesome event, and it's awesome to have Medway be the kickoff for this project. In Medway, transportation initiatives have been at the forefront of what we've done here for the last 10 plus years. In fact, since 2019, the town of Medway has spent over $10 million of local tax money on roads and sidewalks here in the town. And I'd like to tell you that we've solved all of the problems with $10 million, but it hasn't. We've made a great improvement in roadway surface and sidewalk surface improvements in this town, but obviously we have a long way to go. We have a $1.4 million MassWorks grant project that we're working on right now to redesign this stretch of Route 109 that is out here from the Route 126 intersection to the Milford Town line. That'll open up a number of economic opportunities here in this industrial park, but also just greatly improve roadway safety. And of course, most everyone remembers, certainly Jeff remembers, the town of Medway and the Commonwealth partnered on a $12 million revitalization of the Route 109 project from the center all the way to the Millerstown line. We have connected virtually each end of our town now via sidewalks, pedestrian friendly, pedestrian safe. It's a huge endeavor, and we look to, with this next part of the project, to complete that walkability here through town. Clean energy investment, something else that's really happening here in Medway, and we're the center of that. Medway's home to one of the largest energy grids, energy switching stations on the grid in the Northeast. And right now, 1 mile up the street, you'll see the largest battery energy storage facility in the Northeast being constructed right now. It's bringing jobs. Our partners here at Local 4 are directly involved in that. It's fantastic to have Local 4 as part of the Medway community and some of the projects that they're able to help work on right here in our town. That's a $210 million project that's bringing investment to not only Medway, but the Commonwealth. And it's green energy, it's clean energy, and it's renewable energy, which helps support, Governor, helps support your initiatives as well. Job growth, economic development here in Medway. Right here in this central complex, you're part of an 82-acre Oak Grove project. About 100 years ago, the old Clico bottling company decided to put a contest together, and if you open up a bottle of soda and you had the right tag under that so-called bottle cap, you got yourself a 1,600 square foot lot. So here we are 100 years later, we're trying to assemble over 1,000 of these lots to create more economic development right here in Medway. And a lot of bottle caps. If you want to pick up a lot on the way out, we'll help you out with that. These are successes. We've already had a couple of businesses locate on land, not the least of which is O'Brien and Sons and CTS Technologies right here in this park. Folks, across Massachusetts right now, communities are struggling, trying to meet the essential demands for services, police, fire, public education. Dollars are thin, and we're doing everything we can to make those dollars go as far as we can to meet those essential services every single day. The efforts and the initiative by Governor Healey and her staff and her team to bring together more state dollars to help us leverage those local funds to better our roads and our sidewalks, our bridges and our culverts are absolutely mission critical in this Commonwealth today. We can't continue to do the way we've been doing business going forward beyond 2025. And this initiative is absolutely huge for 351 cities and towns across this state. So Governor Healey, on behalf of all of us here in Medway, on behalf of the cities and towns that stand to benefit greatly from your program, it is our pleasure to welcome you to the town of Medway. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Well, good morning, all, and thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate everything that the town manager just laid out. You're talking about work that they're already doing around economic development and growth. There's new housing here in Medway. There's this wonderful battery storage facility that's going in that's, you know, so important, and lots of good stuff. I do wish we lived in a time where we could just assemble some bottles of soda and everybody would have access to a lot, because we're trying to build more housing, you know, around the state. So we'll have to get there in a different way. But today we're really happy to be in Medway to make this announcement. I want to thank our business manager, Local 4, Michael Bose, the training coordinator, Mike Carey, and all the members of Local 4, including the apprentices and the instructors. We just had the opportunity to tour outside and look at cranes in action, cranes that we want to see, and apprentices we want to see out on jobs thanks to this transportation funding, fixing our roads, fixing our bridges, fixing our transportation infrastructure. So the reason we come here today is because we put forward this proposal. We want to fix transportation here in the state. We know how important it is for people to be able to get around, to get to where they need to be. And the way we get there is by funding it. So for the first time ever, our administration is doing something, proposing something that has never been done before. And that is using this funding stream that we have now, maximizing that, leveraging it, so that I can stand here and say we're prepared to spend $8 billion over the next 10 years to help fix roads and bridges and build out the kind of transportation infrastructure we need all over this state. So that's the point of this, and it ties directly to jobs. You know, we estimate with this transportation funding, we're also going to create 140,000 jobs, good-paying, family-sustaining jobs, and it's going to come with the work of the great folks here at Local 4 and so many across the building trades, in particular around our state. So we're joined here today, the Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll, who's been a champion for all of this, by members of our team, Undersecretary of Transportation Hayes Morrison, Undersecretary of Apprenticeship, Work-Based Learning and Policy, Josh Cutler, our Labor Advisor, Roger Brunell, Presidency of the AFL-CIO, Chrissy Lynch, is with us today. We thank her for all of her support. She's also joined by labor leaders Frank Callahan of Massachusetts Building Trades, and members of our legislature, Representative Jeff Roy and Representative Mike Soter. We hope that we can continue to work with the legislature going forward to really land this important funding stream, which will make a huge difference, as Mike was just laying out what this means for 351 cities and towns, and their ability to make the repairs and do the upgrades that our residents, our businesses, our economies need. Why are we doing this? Well, when we took office 2 years ago, too many bridges were closed. People were having to take nasty detours to get around things. Too many roads were full of potholes, still are around our state. Local communities just not having the resources to be able to turn things around. The neglect had gone on for far too long. It's been frustrating for residents, and it undermines our ability to grow our economy here. So we've said in the past, we're not about kicking the can down the road. This is really, really important to people in Massachusetts. We recognize that, and that's why we're set on delivering results through this proposal. Now, over the last 2 years, we have been chasing any means possible to invest in transportation in our state. That includes going after and securing historic levels of federal funding. $9 billion our administration brought back to the state, and that's for projects like the Cape Cod Bridges, West-East Rail, the Alston I-90 project, and so much more. We also increased funding for local roads and bridges, including a special new program for our smaller towns and rural places. I grew up in a small town. It's really hard to make the math work on some of this, and so we wanted in particular to provide a special way to help our small towns and rural places. We've now got commuter rail ridership up to pre-pandemic levels. It's one of the strongest riderships in the entire country. We repaired tracks on the T and got rid of slow zones for the first time in 20 years. And we're going to build on this progress, and that's what today is all about. We know we need to do more to make up for underinvestment in the past, to make up for neglect in the past. I want to see a modern, world-class transportation infrastructure across Massachusetts in every corner of our state. The plan that we are proposing, $8 billion over the next 10 years. Importantly, it's not going to require any new taxes, okay? We're going to use the existing funds that we have and leverage that with smart fiscal management and, importantly, lots of input from communities. This is what we want to do. We want to upgrade our roads and bridges, large and small, state and local bridges. This will have the effect of a few things. One, improving safety, which is most important, and two, relieving a lot of the congestion that people are dealing with now. We also want to increase our flood protection. We know how serious and how frequent floods have become here and around the country, and that's why we want money there to repair and restore culverts to sustain potential flooding. We also want to modernize the T and regional transit authorities. Again, this is about putting our entire state's transportation system on solid foundations. We have the plan. We know what we want to do. I look forward to working with our great colleagues in the legislature as we move forward to make this a reality. I also just want to underscore and gratitude to Local 4 and all the folks here and for the work that they do day in and day out. They also represent a whole host of workers out there in the trades who are working hard across the state. And again, this plan that we put forward, we're not going to get there unless we have the skilled workforce to do it. So that's why Local 4's training facility here in Medway is so important to getting this done, because we estimate we're going to need 140,000 workers out there to deliver. Crane operators, excavators, other heavy equipment operators. We're going to need everybody out there to do this. We're also going to need mechanics and surveyors and technicians, as well as iron workers and steel workers and carpenters and electricians and laborers. Frank, Chrissy, did I miss anybody? We need everybody to get this done. But this is really important. Massachusetts deserves to have a world-class transportation infrastructure. That's what we're going to build working together. And again, I want to thank everybody for their being here today and for the support. And I'd now like to invite our Undersecretary of Transportation, Hayes Morrison, up to say a few words.
Thank you, everyone, for being here, but especially thank you, Local 4, for all of your hospitality. Without being a little hyperbolic, cranes are cool, and thank you for having us here. It was wonderful. But to quote the governor, when workers and the unions that represent them are strong, America is strong. And as we see here in Medway today, Operators and Engineers Training Facility Local 4 is at the forefront of what it takes to move the Commonwealth forward. By investing in their members, we all get the benefit of a strong economy that works for everyone. And that is especially all of us here at Mass.gov who get to partner with them. This work and this training is foundational to getting our jobs done well, on time, and done safely. As you are aware, Mass.gov and the MBTA are proud to have union partners. Without you, it would be impossible to get the historic amount of transportation infrastructure investment that the governor and the legislature are proposing out the door. Our projects are only as good as the people who work on them. We thank Local 4 for their support as the Healey-Driscoll administration seeks to grow this historic level of transportation infrastructure investment. I think what is great is every time we talk to labor and we ask, well, if we get this money, is there enough workforce? How confident do you feel? And they never, ever stop short of saying, we're ready. The Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll have stressed that a thriving economy must have a transportation system which works for everyone. and the proposed budget is a reflection of this commitment. The governor is transforming transportation with an $8 billion plan aimed at providing additional resources to municipalities, expanding public transit, increasing travel options, and investing in critical infrastructure needs. Much like the ones we just heard from Town Manager Boynton, this is really focused on what we can do to help the 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts benefit from this historical investment in a reliable, stronger, and more resilient transportation system. But more than that, investment in transportation not only gets people to work, it puts people to work. We are incredibly grateful to Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll's leadership and continued commitment to delivering real transportation solutions that improve people's lives and put people to work in good jobs. I'd like to say thank you again to Local 4 and all of our other union partners. On behalf of Secretary of Transportation Tibbetts Nutt, Administrator Gulliver, and all of my colleagues at MassDOT and the MBTA, let me end by saying that I look forward to our continued work together. Thank you very much, and I'm going to turn it over to Local 4 Business Manager Mike Bose.
Good morning. Great to see everyone here today. I'm Mike Bose, Business Manager of Local 4, and I'd like to welcome Governor Healey and other elected officials and dignitaries to our training center in Medway. We are proud to welcome you to Medway Training Facility, where we equip our members with the skills they need to excel in their trade. Our union is dedicated to support a strong workforce, and we believe that investing in training is essential for both our members and the community we serve. Local 4 invests over $5 million annually to support the training for our members and apprentices. Local 4 has 2 training locations, one in Canton that specializes in dirt equipment, and our second here in Medway, which focuses on crane operation. It is this access to training that makes our operators world-class. We look forward to the $8 billion infrastructure package so that our members may get to work and showcase their training. And for Local 4, infrastructure dollars equals jobs, which will give us a strong economy. As many of you know, Local 4 has a history of 125 years of advocating for workers' rights, promoting fair labor practices. With over 5,700 members, we are a powerful voice in the industry of heavy equipment operators. Our commitment to safety, quality, and inclusion in the workforce has never been stronger. Governor Healey, for your support for unions and organized labor has made a significant impact on our ability to fight for better wages, benefits, and working conditions for all our operators, shop workers, technicians. Being here today reaffirms your dedication to stand with us as we continue this important work, and for that we thank you and your administration. And now I'd like to turn it over to Frank Callahan, head of the Mass State Building Trades. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Governor Healey, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll, and all of you for being here today. Mike touched on it, and the governor touched on it. It's billions of dollars worth of investment to rebuild our badly needed investment in infrastructure. But I look at it a little bit differently. In addition to building things, we build the workforce that builds it. Mike touched on it with our apprenticeship programs. We work with our contractor partners to fund apprenticeship. And what does that mean? That means opportunities. We give those young people an opportunity. In the case of Local 4, it's a 4-year apprenticeship program, and they have a career. So when you go down the highway and you see equipment or trucks on the side of the road with Local 4 stickers on them, which I'm sure you've seen all around this facility. You see, I know Vin Coyle's here from the Iron Workers, Local 7 stickers, the laborers, all those union stickers. You can rest assured that the people doing that work are doing it safely, they're doing it right, they're doing it quickly, they're doing it efficiently, and at the end of the day, they're going to go home to their families with a good quality of life, health insurance. After a lifelong career, they can have a retirement with dignity. They're earning good wages and benefits. They're doing it right, but the state is doing right by them to make sure that they have that opportunity, because you don't see that everywhere. You know, unfortunately, we have some bad actors in our industry that aren't paying those workers the proper wages and the proper benefits, and certainly not providing the training like you see at facilities like this. As Mike said, they invest $5 million at this facility and the one in Canton. Statewide, the building trades unions invest over $60 million a year in training the workforce that builds Massachusetts, that's going to build these projects all around the state in the case of transportation, but you see it everywhere in water and sewer, and I could go on, and our school systems alike. But I'm so happy to be here today. We're looking forward to putting that money to work, putting more opportunities out there for young people to get an education, get an apprenticeship, and as I said, get a career and an opportunity at facilities like this all across Massachusetts. Let's get to work. Thank you. And now I'll turn it back over to Governor Healey.
Great, thanks, Frank, really appreciate it. I was telling Mike, my uncle was Local 4, and I know, remember him coming back home and talking about how proud he was. I know how hard, too, the program is, especially around the cranes. So kudos to all who are out there every day getting after it. That's our intent with this announcement, too, is to show people we really are getting after it when it comes to transportation and fixing the roads and fixing the bridges and fixing the potholes and building out the kind of transportation system that people need, people count on, and that I know is possible in this state. With that, I'm happy to take any questions. I also want to note and thank our governor's counselor, Tamisha Civil, who's here with us today as well. Thank you. Yes.
Some of your colleagues around the country have said they are getting indications from Washington. You mentioned the state can't go alone. That this administration might not adhere to some of the contracts that have already been issued vis-a-vis federal funding for roads. What are you hearing, and are you worried about that, especially with the Cape Bridges? That's a lot of federal money.
Well, Ben, look, with the change of administration, we've already seen some things that are concerning, that are very troubling. I mean, the idea of tariffs, which potentially are going to raise the cost of goods and services at a time when people are having trouble affording the existing cost of goods and services. A couple weeks ago, we saw the freezing of federal funds into our states for everything from support for VA hospitals to daycare centers, community health centers, and funding for a variety of infrastructure projects. I'll be in Washington later this week. I'm going to continue to advocate strongly on behalf of Massachusetts, our residents, our businesses, to make sure that that money continues to flow and that any commitments that were made, any funds that were obligated, see their way through, not just to Massachusetts and our accounts, but also to make sure they actually see their way through to delivering on projects. That includes some of the projects we're talking about today, transportation infrastructure. So yes, real concerns, concerns shared by governors across this country. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or Republican governor, we all share those concerns. That funding from the federal government is so important to all of our states, and we'll be advocating for that.
Governor
Yeah.
Healey, maybe more a question for your administrator, Mr. Gulliver. Right nearby in Bellingham, there are two bridges, Mark Street and Maple Street, that are graded deficient. Are those likely to be taken care of in this transportation program?
I'm going to turn that over to the administrator. I want to thank Administrator Gulliver for his work and leadership. And it's been a great pleasure working with you the last couple of years. He's super active on things, dealing with stuff that I can assure you highway administrators around this country are dealing with. And that's why we're excited to make the proposal that we're making about the $8 billion over 10 years.
Thank you, Governor. To your two bridges specifically, I'm going to get you some more information specific to those afterwards, but I'll speak in general that this influx of funding, what this helps us do is two things. One, it helps us take those structurally deficient bridges that are out there, and there are many across Massachusetts. I like to say that we have a historic bridge system. It's one of the oldest in the United States, and as a result, it takes a lot of work to keep them maintained. So this money, what it helps us do is keep bridges from becoming structurally deficient and take more bridges off of that list. And so our goal is not to have any structurally deficient bridges. And again, it's a big effort, takes a lot of work, takes funding like this to get there. But I'll get you after this some information specific to those.
You want to say something? Okay. Any other questions? All right. Have a good day out there. Stay warm.